Today's lesson is going to be how to make a video from a photo collection. Now you can make that video from anything, from screenshots, from your digital camera of course, and also from graphics and other things that you create by hand, but how you get them into JPEG images, that we're going to assume is from a video camera, but it could be from anything. Now you're going to need not only those JPEG images, but you're going to need a program called Audacity, and that is for recording sound. And you're going to need a program called Windows Movie Maker that typically comes with Windows XP, Vista, and anything later. Now the first thing you have to do is get your photos organized after choosing a topic. In this example, I chose a Disney trip from 2004, back when my kids were little. And I put those photos in a separate folder, and I had them numbered. I wanted to give a story in chronological order from when we began on day 1 through day 7. So I took just a selection of photos from our big group, and I put them in a folder, and they happen to be numbered. They're not necessarily in sequential order, but they are in order nonetheless. In order to record this, I had to take and put get my headset and to buy it at a store, probably about $20 more or less. There are better ones, there are worse ones. And I had to plug it in. The green one that was already there, that's to my speakers, and I didn't bother changing that, but the red one is the one that goes to my headset, and that's for the microphone. So I plugged that in the back of the computer, and you can see the red goes with the red and the green goes with the green. And then I sat down and put the headset on, and I went to my start button to find Audacity off one of my menus, and I opened up Audacity. Now Audacity has these things called VCR buttons that are on the main menu. You have a red button that is your record button. The blue vertical lines, the two vertical lines, that's the pause. The yellow square, which doesn't appear yellow in this picture simply because there's nothing to stop because it hasn't started. That's why it's grayed out. The same thing with the green arrow button, but that means go. And if you wanted to play it back, the green arrow button, there's nothing to play back, therefore it's not green at the moment, it's grayed out. All you have to do is talk as naturally as possible, and you'll see the sound of your voice in graphical form appearing on the screen. So I've made what appears to be about a 4-minute video, and I went through and I looked at all the photos while I was talking, and that helped me to figure out what to say and when to say it, and it brought back the memories of the stories I wanted to share about our Disney trip. Once I was finished, I went to the File menu and I chose Export as MP3. Now an MP3 is a type of file format. There are other types, and in fact Audacity needs to be installed with an add-on, a plug-in that happens to be called Lame, and you need that in order to create export to export as MP3s. You could export as a WAV file, but that's a much larger file, and you could save the project as an Audacity file, but then it wouldn't be available to do what you want it to do. WAV or MP3 will work. MP3 is a compressed format, which means it's going to take a lot less disk space to say the same things. That's essentially what it is for you. It gave me some options for putting in the title of my audio track and the artist and the album. This is the kind of stuff that if I were to import this MP3 file into iTunes, it would want to be organized, and that's what this metadata is. It's data that is about the file rather than just data, the actual file. So I typed what I wanted to there, and I just hit OK, and you can see that then it just simply saves. At that point, I have now a collection of graphics, and I have one audio file that explains each of those graphics. From there, I move into Windows Movie Maker, where I'm going to combine graphics and audio into a movie. First thing you do, in the top center, you see an item called Imported Media. So I clicked on Imported Media, and it gives me the options, and I go to the directory that contains all my photographs and my MP3 file, and I import them. Once they're imported, I can then simply drag and drop. Down on the bottom it says Storyboard, it says Drag Media here, and that's all you have to do is click on Disney Video and drag it right to the bottom. And there you'll see it suddenly creates an audio track, and you see the video track as well. Then I'm going to highlight all those Disney files, those JPEG images, and I'm going to import those as well. Actually, I imported them one at a time, and they begin with a default setting of 5 seconds per graphic, and I can stretch those and make them bigger little by little. And you can see that some of them I decided I needed the first one to go 10 seconds, the second one 10 seconds, the third was only 5 seconds, and then we have about 12 seconds for the next one. In order to figure out how big I want those, I go to the play menu and I choose play clip. I can listen to it. I can go back to rewind that timeline. I can play the timeline. I can stop it. All those buttons are on my play menu. It allows me to listen to the voice while viewing the particular JPEG image. Once I'm all done, I should have my images, which are in the video track, lined up with the end of my audio track. So to make it a little bit more interesting, I went to the left-hand side where it says Edit, and you see Imported Media, Effects, Transitions, Titles, and Credits. I'm going to choose Transitions first, and there's all sorts of them. These are the same kind of transitions you might see in a PowerPoint demonstration: fanning in, fanning out, flipping, bow tie, vertical, and so on. And in between each photo, I put in a transition effect. I also clicked on Title and Credits because I wanted to put something in the beginning, a title to my story. And I decided to call it My Disney Vacation. And so when I enter the text there and I click a button that says Add Text, it will add that to the beginning of my video. At that point, I'm all done. And I go to the File menu and I choose Publish Movie. Now it's going to save this movie in a WMV, a Windows Movie format. There are many formats that you need to understand, but this happens to be the default format for Windows Movie Maker. And I chose the folder to put it in, the file name, and I hit Next and saved it. At that point, I'm finished with my project. And when I double click it, it opens up in the Windows Media Player and it plays a video of my family vacation. It's not quite ready for the web, although you could actually upload this to YouTube and YouTube will format it for the web. Or there are other things you can do to make it an MP4 file so that it can play on an iPod. There's lots of things, but let's just save those for an advanced course. For right now, what we want to know is, can you now take some graphics and Audacity and make yourself a movie? Thanks.